Hello everyone.
Hi.
I'm Rach and this is Jazz, and we are here to have a bit of a rat chat. Something we've wanted to do for a long time is to have a bit of a weekly sort of update of how things are going at the rescue. And finally, thanks to Jazz, who's been hanging out as a bit of a presence assistant and helping me do lots of stuff.
We're a good team. We are a good team.
We've finally had some time to do so. So, we're here with, this is potentially little Harold, I think he just got named. And, oh gosh, there's so much to update on.
Yeah, let's start at the beginning. We've got a lot of babies.
So there's a lot happening at the rescue. It's a pretty serious situation actually. So first off, we had Operation Pop-Tart a few months ago now. And as part of that, we took in, nearly 100 rats from the RSPCA. We had over a dozen pregnant mums among that group. And, rats have 6 to 16 babies. So, now it's a couple of months on and we've got all the babies that are coming back and they're healthy, sweet little bubs and ready to go find homes. But that's a lot of rats.
A lot of babies.
Already with that alone, had more rats than we have had in a very, very long time. And normally would have paused surrenders there, but thought, what's the worst that can happen? So yeah. Then, which I think you might have seen, we posted a bit. Harold, do you want to go in? You're looking for somewhere cozy.
Hey.
So yeah, then on the weekend we had a really big intake. So we got word that a lady up the coast had passed away. She'd been having rats as pets and breeding them, and the family were just absolutely distraught. Like they just lost a son in a tragic accident, and then this lady who was only in her 40s or something had just passed away suddenly. And the family had rocked up and the house was just impassable levels of mess, but a lot of rats set up in a lot of cages. Babies to oldies, just a real mixed bag, and they just had no idea what to do, nowhere really to go. So they reached out to a few places, and Pixie Paws Rodentry up the coast, Mel was one of them, and Mel said, look, I can't keep them, but I can get them to the rescue. So
thank goodness they did the right thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They didn't know what they were doing, and they found people who did. And
they actually said, like, oh, the rescue is at Rachie's, that was next on our list. So at least people are able to find us on the internet if they're out of the rat community. And Mel's been so great to them, like, on the spot, just took home as many rats as she could, went and found some dog food and water and got it in with the rats that were left over, and the next day she came back for the rest of them, and I drove up with Teresa and Mads, and we went and got them, and I think Mel was going around the next day too, just to help them clear out, some of the trash and
just community care.
That's what it is, right? Like, it's not even always about the rats. It's like you see people that are in need, and you're like, well,
We'll
find the space.
One of the first times I met you, you said to me, we look after the people so the people can look after the rats.
That sounds like something I would say. That must have been a while ago.
It was, but it's really stuck with me, and that's it's the ethos that I think the rescue really tries to embody. We try to do our best to look after the people, and then the people can look after the rats.
Absolutely. Which is a good tie into the next thing that happened.
Brings us to item 3.
Item 3. So, okay, a couple of months ago, we had a baby rat. We got a call from UPB, and they'd had a baby rat brought into them who was clearly really, really sick, and the owner just couldn't afford to really do anything with it and didn't quite know what to do, and they sort of said, like, if we can get it into the rescue and they accept it, would you surrender, and we'll try and see if they can get care. And the lady had said, yeah, that sounds good. And so we've got a box of babies just here.
We have,
and they're so cute.
Talking
So-
about you.
So that's what happened. We had the little ratty came in and she was in a bad way. Was really, really, really sick. And what initially wasn't noticed, not because the vets, have any glaring gaps in their ability to be rat vets, but because vets aren't trained in some of the nuances of rat care and breeding. Like, vets, no one tells vets that mink rats get a molt cap at 7 weeks old and blah, blah, blah. So they didn't realize that she wasn't actually a 3-week-old rat, she was an 8-week-old rat. That was a quarter of her body size. She had some cranial deformities, she had some tooth deformities, she was in such a bad way and she didn't make it. And so sort of talked to them and said like, hey, if the owner didn't identify that this baby was doing significantly worse than the rest of the litter, then I'm worried that we have a problem at home. Would you guys be willing to reach out and see if they'd be willing to come into the rescue and say, not that I'm a vet, but if you can't afford vet care, I could at least health check all your rats for you and tell you what you might want to go and follow up and what might not need following up and things like that. And so
You're not a vet, but you have an expert eye when it comes to rats.
I've seen enough of them, get a rat to about here and it's like, oh, I can smell that you have a uterine infection. Like it's, you pick up on a few things. So, she did, and we back and forth for about a month, sort of, with me saying like, not here to shame you, here to help you, but, obviously having accidental litters at home, sounds like there might be a bit of a problem, like, do you need a hand, do you want to bring all your rats in? No one's going to force you to surrender any of your rats, but we are here for that if there's a problem. And at first she was saying like, oh, that's really good, I'd like that, but I don't need to surrender. And then it sort of, I think some more rats had babies and we worked out that, so this poor girl, she had rats for a while and got a pair of rats, and like continually happens from pet stores, got a missexed pair, a girl and a boy she was told they were both boys. The girl gives birth, she separates all of them and the rats escape through the cage and they go and get pregnant again and have another litter. So she zip tied it and then they chewed through the zip ties and got pregnant again, and then she wired it and then they got through the wires and got out. It was 5 generations of oops litters. And yeah, things were getting pretty wild. So I was approaching it from an angle of like kindness and compassion and wanting to help, because in the past I have gotten that wrong and I have like come down on people and been like, hey, like you're not listening to me, like do we need to report you to the RSPCA, like what do we need to do to unscrew this situation? You're not treating the rats well. So I was tempering myself there, so I didn't just drive her away, but I also wasn't hiding or mincing my words. Like I was being open about like, hey, this isn't okay and everything. And so I think it was incredibly brave and selfless of her to do what she did, which was eventually after she ended up coming to the rescue. So night before last, and so she brought her rats around, and there was about 60 odd of them of different ages. These guys are the oldest in a box of babies. I'm guessing they're about 4 weeks, and then there's what looks to be 2-week-olds and a few like 3-4 day old-ish in there as well, which we're separating out. And the 2 mums who are only babies themselves.
The 2 mums are very little.
They're so little. And so yeah, we went through all the rats with her, and most of them are really, really sick. We've already identified a few aggressive boys that are going to need desexing because they're just not coping with the transition. There's a couple of girls that have uterine infections and are going to need emergency spays. We've got quite a few that have cranial and dental deformities and abnormalities that I don't think the 2 babies that are the siblings of the one that we had are going to make it, but if they do, it's only going to be with a lot of vet care. Everyone's got RI. It's a bit of a situation and a lot of stress on not only like the cages and the on-site care, but the foster system, the financial system. So we got cleaned out with a $9,000 vet bill last month, which just from routinely doing what we do. And now we've been totally slammed with this. So we
lots of babies, and then lots of sick little ones.
Yeah, so that's what's going, I won't say going wrong at the rescue. That's what's
going on.
That's what's going on at the rescue is that we have a lot of ratties. I think the lady who surrendered the other night, I think she's gonna be okay. She we gave her a cage. Thank you so much to Julie.
Just gonna
shut this window. Try and noise reduce.
Yeah, try and noise reduce a little bit.
Hopefully we're coming through the mic okay. So Julie, when we had the massive influx on the weekend, she had loaned us a ferret kingdom that she was going to try and repair and like, it was a bit rusty, but she was going to try and...
Similar to a single side of this,
a single,
So this is two of them.
Well, yeah, four. It was a junior, so it was like one, so it was like one day of it. Yeah, perfect to like stick a couple of girls in there and be like, no more sex.
You're in horny jail.
Yeah. So we, Julie had lent us one of those to try and help with the load, and I sort of messaged Julie on the spot being like, if I swing you some money for this, can I give it to this chick? I got this, show of good faith, like I think she will sort everything out. She just needs support, and I don't have any cages here that I can guarantee her girls aren't going to get out of. And Julie was like, don't even want any money for it, give it out, it'd be good to help. So thank you, Julie, for that
beautiful moment of community care.
Yep. And she's going to be okay. She's encouraged her to hang around the community and like, learn from people with the same interests, and
absolutely,
I'm hoping she'll hang around.
Right. And when we know better, we can do better.
Exactly. And she was super receptive, wanting to learn. Like anytime I said, oh, this rat has such and such, she's like, oh, how do I see that? Show me. So I know the temptation is always to vilify people, like when they surrender and stuff.
And I think there's that misconception within a rescue when people are on the outside looking in, that the animals that end up at a rescue are only at a rescue because people were malicious or did bad things, and that's just not the case.
Absolutely,
it's not the case at all.
It's if we shame people, like this isn't something that's like some magical thing that I'm happen to be good at. Like I've gotten it wrong plenty. Like the amount of times I've been on Facebook groups and someone's been like, oh, rats, I don't know, can't have spinach because they'll get kidney stones and die. And I said, oh, well, there's oxalates in spinach, but we don't die when we eat it, blah, 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 moderation, blah, blah, blah. And they've said no, and I've gone straight to like, okay, not only are you wrong, but you're stupid. And like, that's not and then there'll be Ali.
Not helpful.
Not helpful. Ali in the background going like, I don't care if you're right, shut your mouth. Think about what you're trying to achieve. You're trying to educate people. Like, you're trying to help rats. Why would anyone come to you for help if you're gonna be like that? And it's like, you're right, but I've got feelings about it.
I resent you for being right.
Yeah. But like, I think practiced compassion is not only the only way to long-term help people, because people aren't going to come ask for help if they feel ashamed to do so.
We need people feeling safe to ask for help when they need it.
But also it keeps us safe.
It does, yeah.
So like, I think by the end of the other night, like, it sucked. It was horrific. The rats are in awful conditions, and the situation got way too far, and we all talked about that together. But I think the reason that myself and Zoe, who, I'll talk about Zoe, she rocks, she's taking over adoptions and surrendered. I think the reason that we were still okay by the end of the night, if a little exhausted, was because we were like actively practicing compassion, like actively willing ourselves to like fight frustration and being upset and take things with a good faith interpretation, work with people, and just try and like resolve things from the side of like, okay, like how do we harm reduce? Like treating it as harm reduction, right? Like oh, there are people who say like, well, why'd you give expensive cage to someone who's doing the wrong thing? And it's like, well, people who are doing the right thing don't need the cage. It's like, like
because the rat's in her care,
yeah,
and now
because she needed
safe.
it.
She needed it.
It's just like harm reduction. So yeah, well, that's all crazy stuff that's going on. I think there's a bunch of good stuff.
There is a bunch of good stuff.
There is a bunch of good stuff. It's been phenomenal seeing how the teams pulled together throughout this. Like, we are absolutely forced to close surrenders at this point. Like, no question about it. We were over capacity 2 surrenders ago. And but everyone's just like volunteers, coordinators. Everyone's just totally rallied. Like, I know it's not sustainable. There's a few cool changes happening at the rescue that have got, I know, me and a couple of others overworking, and I know I'm sort of circling the drain of like mental health and burnout, and that's, I'll manage that. But it's been amazing seeing everyone come together and be so awesome and so generous and with their time. And I know, yeah, you want to meet my rats. Yeah, no. Sugar Cube isn't allowed around children. She's too rude. So, but as far as good stuff goes, we've had a cool couple of people get involved sort of on a coordinator sort of level, like like we've got so many volunteers and so many roles. There's volunteers who come in and do the cages and clean the tubs, people who do transport and foster carers, and then there's the people who have like, there's the admin volleys and stuff, and there's the people who have like carved out a chunk of the workload off what was initially my plate, and then a big shared plate, and just defined a chunk, carved it out, and said, I'll manage this. So we've got like Aaron, who heads up the volunteer side. There's Kyla, who manages all the foster cares, and she's just grown in leaps and bounds. I know
she's excellent.
Tara and Kyla both are like finalists for this year's Pet Rescue Awards for Volunteer of the Year. Both of them are just incredible volunteers.
So well deserved.
Yeah, and so much personal growth for both of them. It's magical. So Kyla manages the fostering, and she's taken on a lot of like booking vet appointments and stuff with UPV, which has just been huge relief.
Managing more extensively the care within the foster system.
Yeah, exactly.
And not only that, when I foster and I have a problem, like you go to Kyla and she knows and she's excellent and she answers the questions so helpfully.
And so we've had a few new people. So Jazz has been helping out a lot. I was sort of like, guys, I'm drowning, help, need a hand. And so Jazz has sort of been like pres assistant, and is gonna run for secretary come November, because I know as Ali's spoken about, that she needs a break from the role and to just go back to doing social media. So that's
which she is so excellent at,
and that's an enormous relief for us all. Hello, Harold. You don't want to go and nap with sister? Should we go back to mama?
Yeah.
And Zoe. So a few months ago, Zoe was just sort of, we're all just chatting in the office during a work day, and she was like, why don't we have an adoptions and surrenders coordinator? And like the 4 coordinators that were all in the room looked at each other and were like, why don't we have an adoption surrenders coordinator? Like, it was so the obvious thing to do. So poor Zoe was it's like, hey Zoe, look. Nah, she was an awesome candidate for it, and so she stepped up and doing
as
that.
you say, it's dangerous to be competent.
Yes. It's dangerous to be competent, because someone will be like, want to do a thing?
Yeah, and she's absolutely taken to the role.
Oh, I hate, but the poor thing, thrown in the deep end, like.
She became adoptions and surrenders coordinator right at, like, so just after our first wave with the RSPCA babies, in between, just at those last 2 big ones.
So like, I think yesterday was her second Saturday that she's done, and so that's been, last Saturday. So She's in her 3rd week of the role, and 2 of those weeks have been like mass surrender cases. She's
And awesome. We put the call out like we need adopters. We have healthy, happy babies and oldies. We've got all sorts. Like, take your pick. We have rats for all occasions. And she sweetie. And she's been working her way through the adoption applications, which is awesome,
with emails,
which is very exciting.
Yeah,
Them coming.
super exciting, and a few of us have sort of been helping her out with the workload because it's ridiculous at the moment. But oh my god, please come and adopt or volunteer or something before Zoe and a few of us burn out, because the last thing we need is people stepping up to do stuff and then just being like, I can't, this is nuts.
It's the thing, if you've been thinking you'd like to help out, now is the time. We have adoptable babies, we have adoptable adults, we have fosters that need short-term and long-term care.
Yes, there's
if you don't have much time, but you could do transport. Like
transport for vet runs,
taking them to and from vets.
There's even if you want to either adopt or foster, like we have fosters here who just need meds, probably will their whole life, and they're clogging up the foster system of like, you know, people who are usually like rehabilitating rats and getting them ready and getting them out. Like all the cages are full of rats that are probably just going to be lifelong meds. So like either adopting or, because like when people come to adopt, we're going to offer them the healthy, happy, ready to go rats.
Absolutely.
You know, like it's part of the discussion if people want to take rats with health conditions, and I'm open to it, but it has to be with, you know,
it can be incredibly rewarding, but
all of my misfits. But it's either that or foster. Or say like, look, I don't want to front the medical stuff for a rat that's going to need repeat RI management, but I've got space in my cage. They can come vibe, and I'm happy to do the daily meds. That's fine.
Excellent.
We will front the meds. That would be life-saving. Or even rats that just don't like people that much, and they just want a cage to just sit up the back of and vibe.
We've got Bramble.
Yes, and he just wants to glare at you from the top of the cage, and that's all he wants to do.
He wants to hang out. He's a dysexed boy. He wants to hang out with his sisters and just
no boys, only him and his old owner, who was very sad to stranger him. Joined the volunteer corps, and she gets to visit him. And the other day I pulled him down. I'm like, hey, you know, do you remember your mum? And he's there like, still hate you. Like,
go away, mum.
Hate everyone. And she's like, yeah, you hate me. That's okay. Good to see you, buddy. Like, but yeah, even companion foster. So like, if you're thinking of getting out of rats and you're down to your last few, like, don't wait until one rat passes away and you're left with like one rat and you can't get companion fosters. Like, save them that mental and physical health stress. Come and foster some friends.
And then when your rat passes, the fosters are
exactly. So plenty of exciting news, and that's a lot of the reason that I've been like super overworking lately, is like training new people to do new cool things, to make things easier in the long run. But the hello. Oh my god, had a really exciting bit of community support come in the mail. Totally unprompted.
Oh yes.
So,
how can we forget?
Oh my gosh. Had like the most gorgeous little package came from Charlie and Andrew. These guys have a bunch of babies adopted from us, and they're absolutely awesome. Where you can put in it. They sent us this 3D printed prototype of a ramp for older rats, and so it's sturdy as anything, and it just fits together with screws.
And because it's modular, you can alternate,
which is so cool. You can make it as long, like as flat and long as you need. Like that is brilliant. And the other thing, which made me laugh my head off because I don't know how they knew we needed them, but they 3D printed us 30 of the little black washers in the rodent wheels that sit in there and keep it running smoothly, which are constantly getting lost at the wash station at the front of the rescue.
We were just ordering some more the other day.
So you guys are absolutely awesome. This rules.
So cool.
so
cool.
cool. Absolutely.
And so useful, because like, haven't we all thrown together some dodgy handmade rant to try and
gosh.
support older like
You can see the angle of mine. Like, it's so, I can't get one long enough to sit where I want to get it to sit.
as they get old and
yeah, this is fab. I'm gonna be trying to
Absolutely
acquire some of
excellent.
these for my gang for sure. Thank you, Charlie and Andrew.
So
That
cool.
rocks.
Thank you.
If you guys want to, if anyone wants to send stuff to the rescue, either like for the ratties or like some for the volunteers, like, you know, send some baked goods that are put down in the office, or I don't know, anything you want. We have a post office box, so it's what, PO Box 3183, Sunnybank South, Queensland 4109, Australia. So it's on the website as well. If you go to contact us, all our details are there. But please, yeah, never be shy to send us mail. It's greatly appreciated. It's always a nice thing to have something
so lovely.
It's so nice to
It's
get
so
packages.
lovely.
Oh, little darling, you're so small.
But yeah, so
Yeah,
that sort of covers a lot of the big stuff.
yeah.
We've got the rat show coming up.
Yes. So, this Sunday we're going to be at the Finish Hall at Mount Gravatt with the QRF rodent show. We usually go and have a stall there. We'll have a lot of different stuff that different people have made. So, super lovely lady called Anita made a bunch of boomerang bags, which is this super awesome initiative. Volunteers make bags out of only recycled fabrics and sew them up to this pattern, and often they'll leave them at places and you can sort of borrow a bag and save waste. But as part of her BP award, so like the Baden Powell Award for Scouts, as part of doing something for a charity group, for that chose us as a project, so we are so grateful for that. So we'll be there with a stack of these beautifully sewn bags, which where, you know, we're just gonna pop a sign them and say, like, pay what you want. Like, these were sent to us as a donation to fundraise, so pay what you want donation. And just all sorts of cute stuff that people have made to sell. We'll have secondhand stuff there, all spare water bottles and food bowls and all the stuff that comes in with surrenders that we try to recycle.
Whatever's good gets
Yeah.
resold. It's either we try and standardize everything we use within the rescue, but if it's good, that's an excellent way that people can get cheaper, decent quality rat stuff. You're not having to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff. You're supporting the rescue. It's a nice little moment. My cage is full of stuff that I have
So is
grabbed
mine.
from the back room.
It's and we know what's crap too. So like we'll be throwing out all the hamster balls or throwing out the lids so you can't use them as hamster balls. And
Because they make
great hides.
They make decent hides.
Yeah, don't use those things for balls.
But yeah, so lots of stuff that you can like come along and buy some stuff and check it out. We've got like key rings and
all sorts
badges
of stuff.
and
Hammocks.
everything. Hammocks. Oh my gosh, we got hammocks.
We're gonna bring the hammocks today. We never used to bring the hammocks to the shows because there's some seriously awesome, beautiful hammock makers like Creative Critico and stuff that sells the hammocks there. And I sort of like, I don't want to come along with a bunch of stuff that all the volunteers have sewn up that like
muscle in on their
quality ranges depending on which volunteers made it. And like, you know, I don't want to like come in and undercut all the hammock sales. And Amy's like, Rach, that's really lovely and it's super considerate, but like all of us hammock makers want you guys to make your money, and also like it's a different market. This is if people want really nice beautiful hammocks, they're gonna come to me anyway.
They'll get a matching set. It'll be beautiful.
She's like, this is a different market. So it's like, okay, which is really sweet. So we're gonna be there with all the hammocks this time, and the shows are good fun even if you're not showing. There's like a raffle, there's a canteen, there's a bunch of people to talk to, different people make and sell stuff. A heap of us will be there to sort of chat about the rescue and all sorts of things as well. So yeah, come along. I think about 10 o'clock is sort of a good point to sort of for the public to come and start visiting. And judging, the show closes up sort of around 2-ish. Sometimes it runs till like 4. It depends when all the judging wraps up. But the earlier in the day you come along, the better the chance of you having a good time. Because then if you're up in the middle of like awards at the end of the day, everyone's going to be busy and it won't be as much fun. So yeah, I'd probably recommend maybe like between 10 to 1. But yeah, that's going to be fun.
I don't know. I feel like I think that's a pretty good cover of everything.
That's
so like
pretty much it.
in summation, we have rats.
In summation, yeah.
We have a lot of rats. We have a lot of happy, healthy rats that are ready to go to their own homes. Chuck in an adoption application. Yep. We have rats. We have awesome Zoe who will take excellent care of you. We've got rats that need adoption, rats that need fosters. We need volleys on the ground.
Yes.
Like, if you don't know what kind of, like, you just want to help but you don't know how, like, shoot us an email. We will work with you to find a place.
Absolutely. I know, even just off the top of my head, like, Thursday and Friday, we need more people for cage cleans at the moment. We really do, because a lot of the people that are doing cage cleans are stepping up to help with other stuff, and that's awesome. But, like, we need cage cleans. And Sunday...
It's the unglamorous...
yeah, it's so much fun.
Because you get to hold all the babies
and it's a whole team, and it's always such a nice day, and people put music on, and Sunday is the advanced health checks as well, which, you know, even if you're not someone with like super health experience, like there's a bit of a scale and a form there that's been developed by some vet nurses, and
you'll get training. You get training in everything. Anything that you want to do, you'll get training in it, and it's all like. There is not a single job within the rescue that is not important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've never had as many rats as we do right now. We've never had as many rats in the foster care system. We've never had as much vet work to do and financial strain with as little in our bank account before. Like, if there's a time to help us, it's right now. Like, we're not, appealing for an upgrade on something. We're just trying to keep our heads above water at the moment because...
Yes, that essential vet care.
Yep, because these 2 big community surrenders we've had, neither of them were situations that we could say no to. We couldn't leave this grieving family without assistance. We couldn't leave this girl drowning in a lack of experience to change the situation. Like, more of those girls are pregnant. Like, there's absolutely more litters to come from that. And so they're exactly where they need to be, but we couldn't say no. But the price we pay is risking the volunteers. Which, did I make the right call? I don't know. It's not only my mental health that I'm playing with, and I'm trying to untangle all of this before it has any negative effect on anyone else. So
there's been a time when we need the community. It's now.
Yeah, help, please. We've helped these people on the basis that you guys will bail us out, so please bail us out.
But yeah, we will give you rat photos and snuggles.
Oh god, yeah. So yeah, that's basically it. If you can come and help, awesome. If you can adopt, if you can donate, if you can't, spread the word, please.
Yeah, share our posts. Share our donation and get involved links. Like,
absolutely, we can't actually share our own posts to different groups because of the way the Facebook algorithm works. They recognize that the person who runs and contributes to the page is sharing it, and they just assume you're spamming, and they actually tank the reach of the posts. So other people sharing our stuff around is always super appreciated because it's something we can't do.
Both within Australia and internationally. Like
half our donations come from international Facebook followers, which is incredible.
So cool. It's so cool.
So cool. It's so cool having such a broad community because, like, you recognize the names and the faces, and you get to know everyone.
And that's another really cool thing. We have people on our admin team who are not based in Australia.
Yeah.
They do emails from overseas, wherever they are. Like, if you are not near us, you can still be a part of the community. You can still help out. Like, we still need you.
Yeah.
If you want to.
Absolutely. Well, I reckon that's it. A huge update. I
Yeah.
think we're going to try and do this a little bit more often. This is a bit of a test run, so we'll see how the audio goes and how
What we need to fix.
what we need to fix. I think the plan is we'll give you a bit of an update on what's happened at the rescue during the week and where things are at. We'll probably introduce you to some rats that are looking for homes or fosters and sort of have a bit of a meet and greet, and then we'll sort of wrap it up with a bit of a like what's happening, what we need, sort of, you know,
Yeah.
bit of a
How you can get
how you
involved.
can get involved. Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. If you guys have any questions,
You know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. Comment or hit us up by the website. There's if you're looking to adopt or foster or donate or whatever, hit up the website. There's the first step to adopting and fostering stuff is just you fill out a form that just automates everything, stops the back and forth, and that just goes directly to the person who's dealing with it. So, and if you're not sure, there's a contact us form on the website that'll take you to the admin team and they'll direct you. So, thank you everybody. Thanks, Jess.